What's up, YouTube? Gotham Comics here with another video. This is a special video, and to my knowledge, this is the first video of this kind for this year. So this is my top books of 2016. I have a lot of reasons for doing it now. One is simply that I'm probably just not going to be buying any more books this year. You know, it's Christmas season, so my priority right now is saving money, of course, and then any other books that I'd spend, any other money that I'd spend on myself or on comics. I'm going to put that towards some Christmas presents. And by the way, I hope everyone's off to a really lovely Christmas season. If you celebrate Christmas, if not, I hope you're enjoying the holidays. So yeah, I have 35 books to run through. I'm going to fly through most of them. You've seen them all before, with maybe one or two exceptions. Not really going to tell any stories in this video, just kind of present these for what they are. Maybe provide some basic background info on how I came across them. But if you've never seen my videos, I do mostly collect Marvel Silver Age books. I've been collecting for about 3.5 years now, and I have 35 books to show you tonight. I'm not going to keep any kind of record. I'm not going to go 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. I'm just going to run right through them in the order of when I purchased them this year. So it's mostly Marvel Silver Age. I do have some DC books, but it's very few. And before I get started with these two books, when the year began, I made a decision to focus more on key issues. I wanted to get kind of the cream of the crop, if you will, of the comic book keys, because I figured that, number one, they're just very near and dear to my heart as a comic book fan and collector, and number two, that these books aren't getting any less expensive. And essentially these books were purchased via stores, via eBay, via Instagram, at flea markets and yard sales. So pretty diverse in terms of how I've come across these books. So that's a pretty long intro, but I'm gonna get it going right now. The first two of these 35 books are Tales of Suspense 52, the first appearance with the Black Widow, and Tales of Suspense 57, the first appearance of Hawkeye. Black Widow is probably in VG shape. I'd say Hawkeye is like VG minus, good plus. I paid $2.50 for the pair on eBay. Struck a nice deal with the seller. Next book, Daredevil 168, first appearance of Elektra. Picked this up on eBay as well. Really cool to have gotten this one, especially at a good price before she really got out of sight with her price. The price of this book got out of sight just with Daredevil Season 2. Here's a book that not too many people talk about. Savage Tales #1. It's the first appearance of the Man-Thing. It's a magazine, really hard to find. I bought this online as well, but yeah, highly recommend picking this up. I predict good things ahead for this book, so, and it's a cool cover as well. The next two I'm going to show as a pair. I actually traded my comic book store for these two, and actually there were other books involved, but these are the main ones. And honestly, guys, I've bought a lot of books this year. I'm not showing you everything that I've picked up. I'm really just showing you the best of the best. It's been a pretty long year comic collecting wise, but again, like, these are just the main big key books, because that's what I like to collect. So we have Journey into Mystery 103, and that's the first appearance of the Enchantress and the Executioner, and then Spider-Man Annual #1 for Sinister Six. Both in pretty solid shape. I got another early Thor book in this trade, and I did this with my local comic book store. Now, the next book I'm going to show you might be the book of the year. I'll let you decide. Of course, you have to look farther in my video to decide for yourself. Obviously, this is Daredevil #1. Back in February, I went on a business trip to New York. I visited one of my friends who now lives in Brooklyn, and I went to the Joe Koch Comic Warehouse. And that's the sort of place where they actually have you call ahead and make an appointment, and it was really one of the most interesting comic book experiences of my life. If you're ever in New York City, I highly recommend going to the Joe Koch Warehouse. He just has walls and walls and walls of comic books. And when I had called to make my appointment the day before, I had driven down from, I was going to drive down from Boston, but he had told me, he said, listen, I just got a whole run of Daredevil in from 1 to 131. And, when he told me that, truth be told, I wasn't expecting to find #1 there when I got to his warehouse, but I did. And I asked him what he wanted, and he said $300, and I gladly paid him. Now, full disclosure, when I first bought this book, there was a lot of tape. The cover was still attached to the staples, but there was just a lot of tape on the inside of this book. And one of my close friends is actually a conservationist of books full-time at Harvard University. And so I gave this book to him for a period of 9 months, during which he did technically no restoration. He just removed the tape. Tape removal is not restoration. And he did a really beautiful job. I might open this book up at some point, but I'm just so happy to have Daredevil #1. It's a really great read. I'm thrilled to have it, and it's just pretty awesome. And if I don't sound thrilled to have these books, guys, it's because it's late at night, and I just came home from a 2-day Christmas party at my girlfriend's work, and I'm out of it. So, and actually, I'm going away on another trip tomorrow with my brother and his fiance, just like a low-key sort of thing. But between this trip tomorrow and this weekend, and then Christmas shopping and the holidays, I didn't know when I was going to do this, and I wanted to get it done before New Year's. So, anyway, when I got back from New York, I had this book waiting for me, as well as this one. 2 really awesome key issues. FF52, the first Black Panther, and then Spider-Man 15, first Kraven the Hunter. This one here is in really, really, really nice shape. This one here has some issues, and most of my books, like obviously they're all in Mylar, they all look nice in Mylar, they all display pretty much very well. I would say they're all in mid-grade. That's how I afford these. I look for good deals. I mostly pay, below what these are going for on eBay. On rare occasions, I pay what they probably should be going for if you go by like a guide price, or if you go by kind of the average all-time over the last year on eBay. But these are mid-grade books. I'm very happy to have both of these. This next book I got on eBay, but you won't believe how much I paid for it. Tomb of Dracula #10, First Blade. It's got a subscription crease down the middle. I actually bought that book on eBay for $30. I don't know how, but kind of randomly at work one day during my lunch break, I typed in Tomb of Dracula 10, and this guy popped up, and it was $30, and I snagged it. Complete, everything's there, just a subscription crease. Brings me now to Marvel Premiere 15, First Iron Fist. This book is really heating up, but I mean, again, this is another one of those books that I probably paid less than $50 for this. I'll tell you when I paid through the nose for a book, but for the most part, this year, I think I did a really good job of sniffing out the deals. I was patient, I waited, and, did well, so happy. Pretty cool book. First appearance of Ant-Man in costume, or I don't really know where you err on the side of this debate, but this is Tales to Astonish 35. This is the first time Hank Pym dons the Ant-Man costume. If you take that to mean this is his first Ant-Man, then good for you. If you don't, good for you as well. I don't really care. It's a really significant key. It's a great cover, and it's a great read. I paid $120 for this, which is pretty unreal. And this was post-movie, obviously. It's got a little bit of dirt kind of in this upper, I don't know if you want to call that upper left corner of the book, but I can totally live with it. It displays really nicely. This, to my knowledge, is my first DC book so far. Batman 155, first Silver Age Penguin. Really happy to own this. I paid $50 for it online, again. I like the cover a lot, and I'm an avid watcher of the Gotham show on Fox. I think it's a great show, and when I decided to start collecting Batman, this was one of the first keys I wanted, so here it is. One of the, not pioneering YouTubers, but one of the earliest YouTubers I watched, who is currently inactive, is SpideyFan78CT. He's from California. He gave me these two books via Instagram. I paid $250 for the pair. They're both in really solid shape. And then I traded a guy at my local comic book store for these two. Amazing Spider-Man 17 and 13. First Mysterio is the 13, and the one on the left is the first time Green Goblin gets his glider, and it's also the second appearance of the Green Goblin. I traded first Ultron and first Frightful Four for that one. Milk and Cheese #1, first print, really fun read. I paid $3.50 for it. Pretty cool. Found this for 25 bucks. It's got a subscription increase, but I can totally live with it. I've neglected my X-Men run over the years, but I'm happy to have this. It's the first Sentinels. I was absolutely freaking out when I bought this book. I paid $3.50 for it on eBay, and it's beat to absolute shit. But the seller neglected to tell me all that was wrong with it, and he actually gave me $100 back. So I bought this book for $2.50 at the end of the day. So pretty cool. I'm getting into the books that I bought at Boston Comic Con. Day one, I bought these two guys. Spider-Man 46 and 41, first Shocker and first Rhino. Then I got Batman Superman Annual #4, first Batman Beyond. My second copy of Daredevil 131, first Bullseye. Fantastic Four 46, first Black Bolt. And Tales to Astonish 44, first appearance of the Wasp. Really cool book. All of those, for the most part, in mid-grade, with some exceptions. I think the Daredevil is probably in fine shape. I found this in a store up in New Hampshire for $1, so that's pretty cool. And I am flying through these guys now because my battery's running out. Spidey 8. Just a nice cover. This book doesn't get the love and respect it deserves, I don't think. It's the first appearance of the Living Brain, and it's when Peter Parker loses his glasses and never puts them on again. Went to a church sale back in September, and this was the top book in a box of comics. I found it at the sale. I paid $100 for the whole box. Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos #1. Really, really, really nice shape. So happy to have it. Aquaman 35, another DC book, first Black Manta. Got a string of DC books now. Adventure Comics 108, first Dynamite and Boomerang arrows of the Green Arrow, so pretty cool. So essentially the first time he's got the call and release arrow, and the first time he shoots an arrow that explodes. The next two books I got at Rhode Island Comic Con. Journey's Mystery 102 and Detective Comics 400, first Man-Bat, and that's in the Detective Comics, and 102 is the first Lady Sif, and Gila as well, so pretty cool. And then my final book of the year, I picked up right after Thanksgiving, Spider-Man #4, first appearance of Sandman. Picked this up on Instagram via Secret Flash Comics. So I realized I flew right through those, especially kind of in the latter half. This is my last book. That was 35 books. It basically equals about 3 keys a month, which I have to say, like, maybe I did overdo it in a sense. But financially, I'm doing fine. I'm still saving, and I would say that this was a really interesting year for me. Like, this was the first year I really, really, really focused on keys, and I had a good sense of what was on the market and the significance of some books. In the next year, in 2016, I'm still going to focus on keys, but not to such an obsessive amount. I'm going to go after covers I like. I'm going to resubscribe to some modern books and just kind of go from there. I mean, I still have car payments, I still have student loans. I'm only 24 years old, so I think ETA Nick says that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Yeah, the market is such that these books are going up in price, but at the same time, there really is no hurry, and I really rather enjoy it, this hobby, for what it is. So it's pretty wild, how much collecting you can do in a year. I totally recognize that some people, do this amount of collecting in a month or 2 months or half a year, but this is the pace I'm at right now, and it'll be interesting to see where I am a year from today. So sorry again for sounding so mellow, guys. I know I'm usually a little bit more animated. And yeah, thanks for watching. This is Gotham Comics with an X. Thanks everyone for watching and for making this channel so great, and for subscribing, for liking. Even for those of you who dislike, if you're disliking, at least you gave me a view. So whatever. Have a very happy New Year, everybody. Good luck to all collectors. And Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. Happy Hanukkah if you celebrate it. I hope everyone had a really wonderful Thanksgiving. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.